On the evening of September 10, 2025, what began as a routine speaking event at Utah Valley University turned into a national headline. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was addressing students and attendees when, according to prosecutors, a single shot rang out from a rooftop hundreds of feet away. The bullet struck Kirk, and despite rapid medical response, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Witnesses described panic and confusion as law enforcement immediately locked down the area. In the hours that followed, a coordinated manhunt unfolded. Dozens of officers, aided by federal agents, canvassed neighborhoods, collected surveillance footage, and interviewed witnesses. Less than 48 hours later, by September 12, 2025, authorities announced the arrest of 22-year-old Tyler James Robinson. Officials said he was located after tips and phone data led them to his whereabouts. He was taken into custody without incident and booked into jail on suspicion of aggravated murder and related charges. Make sure you subscribed, as we break down what prosecutors say happened and the evidence they've made public. We'll stick only to verified facts. On September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was shot while speaking at an outdoor event at Utah Valley University. According to prosecutors, the fatal round was fired from a rooftop between 300 and 400 feet away, a distance investigators say suggests planning and precision. Police immediately described the incident as an apparent targeted shooting. As the crowd scattered in panic, 911 dispatchers received a flood of calls. Emergency medical teams rushed to Kirk's aid, while police secured the perimeter and launched a search for the shooter. What followed was a tense manhunt. Detectives and tactical units canvassed surrounding neighborhoods, gathering surveillance video and interviewing witnesses. By combing through phone records and tip-offs, investigators narrowed their focus. On September 12, just 33 hours after the shooting, authorities arrested 22-year-old Tyler James Robinson. Prosecutors later confirmed he was located after a family friend contacted police, aiding in the swift capture. Robinson was taken into custody without incident and booked into jail, facing an initial count of aggravated murder with more charges to follow. Following his arrest, prosecutors filed a series of serious charges against Tyler James Robinson. These include aggravated murder, along with multiple related felonies: felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and committing a violent offense in the presence of a child. Robinson is currently being held without bond as he awaits trial. In a press briefing, Utah prosecutors confirmed they will pursue the death penalty. They cited aggravating factors outlined in charging documents, among them, the allegation that the shooting was premeditated, carried out at a public event, and endangered the lives of many in attendance. It is important to remember these are charges, not convictions. As Reuters and other outlets have stressed in their reporting, Robinson is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. In court filings and press briefings, prosecutors have publicly outlined the evidence they say ties Tyler James Robinson to the fatal shooting. First, they point to alleged text messages in which Robinson appeared to discuss planning the attack and later seemed to confess to carrying it out. Authorities also claim he instructed others to delete incriminating messages. Behavior prosecutors argue shows an attempt to obstruct the investigation. Second, investigators recovered a rifle, reported in media coverage as a bolt-action weapon. Forensic testing, prosecutors say, links this firearm to the scene. According to their filings, DNA and trace evidence connected Robinson directly to the rifle and to spent casings recovered nearby. Officials emphasize that the chain of custody and lab results support their charges. Finally, prosecutors allege Robinson communicated with others both before and after the shooting, reinforcing their claim of premeditation and follow-through. Together, they say these elements build a picture of intent, action, and concealment. Of course, it will be up to the courts, not the public, to determine the strength of this evidence and whether it meets the burden of proof. Next, we'll look at the question of motive, what prosecutors have suggested, and what remains unanswered. Beyond the physical and digital evidence, prosecutors have pointed to motive as a central part of their case. According to charging documents and public statements, Robinson allegedly targeted Charlie Kirk specifically because of Kirk's political speech and activism. Authorities have characterized the shooting as an act motivated by the victim's political expression, a claim that elevates both the seriousness of the charges and the penalties the state is pursuing. However, it's critical to underline this distinction: motive as framed by prosecutors is still an allegation. It represents the explanation the state is advancing to support charges, and in this case their decision to seek the death penalty. It is not the same as a judicial finding of fact. Ultimately, whether this alleged motive is proven and whether it can withstand the scrutiny of defense arguments will be decided in court. According to media reporting and court filings, investigators pieced together the case using phone records, messages, physical evidence, and community tips. Authorities also confirmed that a family friend contacted police and played a role in locating Robinson, helping bring the manhunt to a swift end. But outside the courtroom, the story has taken on a life of its own. The shooting of a high-profile political figure has sparked intense reaction across the political spectrum. Supporters mourn Kirk's death as a targeted act of violence, while others focus on the broader implications for free speech and public safety. At the same time, the case has fueled a wave of online conspiracy theories, spreading across social media platforms and video channels. Officials and journalists alike have warned of the dangers of misinformation and premature conclusions, urging the public to rely only on verified updates from court proceedings and law enforcement. The death of Charlie Kirk has sent shockwaves through politics, media, and the communities he touched. The arrest of Tyler James Robinson marks only the beginning of what is certain to be a long, difficult legal journey. Each court appearance, every motion, and eventually a possible trial will be closely watched, not just for what it reveals about this case, but for what it says about violence in the political arena. For now, one fact remains clear: the courts, not public opinion, will decide whether Robinson is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Emotional wrap-up: this story is still unfolding. Until verdicts are reached and facts are firmly established, it's our responsibility to separate allegation from proof and to ensure justice is pursued fairly. If you value careful, fact-driven coverage of ongoing cases, please share this video, subscribe for updates, and join the conversation below. What do you think this case means for free speech, politics, and public safety? Let me know in the comments.